Bhagavaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Kudirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtiki Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirviseshasha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatari Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Caitanya, Prabhu Nityananda,
Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we continue our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 2 Chapter 10 Text 10. Purusho andam vinirbhidya yadasau sa vinirgataha atmano ayanam avichan apo asrakshik shuchihi. After separating the different universes, the gigantic universal form of the Lord Mahavishnu, which came out of the causal ocean, the place of appearance for the first Purusha avatar, entered into each of the separate universes, desiring to lie on the created transcendental water, Garbhodhaka. So purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. After analysis of the living entities and the Supreme Lord Paramatma, the independent source of all other living beings, Srila Sukadev Goswami is now presenting the prime necessity for devotional service to the Lord, which is the only occupational business of all living entities. The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna and all his plenary portions and extensions of plenary portions are non-different from one another, and thus the supreme independence is in each and every one of them. In order to prove this, Sukadev Goswami, as promised to King Parikshit, describes herein the independence of the Purusha avatar, personality of Godhead, even in the sphere of the material creation. So that Krishna has so many expansions, and he has so many expansions of his expansions. Now, each of this expansion is also equally potent. They might not display so much potency. For example, if we have a small light bulb in our room, it does not mean that the powerhouse can only illuminate this small light bulb. No, it has also the capacity to illuminate big, big industrial lamps. So similarly, and then because in our house we do not need a big industrial lamp, we just need these small bulbs, so we are putting those. But in the big industries where it's required, those big powerful lamps are also there, and they can all be powered by the powerhouse. where the electricity is coming from. So Krishna's expansions are all equally powerful, but they display their power, they display their potency only according to time, place, and circumstance, how much ever is required at that time. Such activities of the Lord are also transcendental, and therefore they are also Leela or pastimes of the absolute truth. So this lying down of Mahavishnu in the Karana ocean and then producing all the universes, the Garbhodakshay Vishnu, the Shirodakshay Vishnu, it's all his Leela. It's all Krishna's Leela. Not that only the Ras Leela is Krishna's Leela. Also creating this material universe is Krishna's Leela. Such pastimes of the Lord are very conducive to the hearers for self-realization in the field of devotional service. Some may argue, then why not relish the transcendental Leela of the Lord as exhibited in the land of Mathura and Vrindavan, which are sweeter than anything in the world? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur replies that the pastimes of the Lord in Vrindavan are meant to be relished by advanced devotees of the Lord. Neophyte devotees will misunderstand such supreme transcendental activities of the Lord, and therefore the Lord's pastimes in the material sphere related to creation, maintenance, and destruction are very verily relishable by the Prakrita or mundane devotees of the Lord. So we can see that Sukadev Goswami, he's building up for us the position of Supreme Lord, his pastimes. He's first explaining to us very clearly what's the position of Sri Krishna in this material creation and what is our position in this material creation, because we can see the material creation. We are able to feel it. We are able to relate to it because we are in it. So just for us to understand that Krishna is the controller of this material creation. He's not he's not just like one of us. That's the reason Sukadev Goswami is giving so much detail. He does not directly go to the 10th canto. He does not directly tell us about the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. Because we will, if we are not able to understand the position of Krishna as the Supreme Lord, then we will misunderstand his pastimes in Vrindavan. And that's the reason we can see why so many people who are just putting some commentary on Bhagavatam, who do not read the first 9 cantos, but just want to directly try to hear the pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan, because they do not understand the position of Krishna, because they themselves don't know, then when they speak to others, they are misguiding others also. And in turn, the hearers are also misguided. And then people make such claims that, oh, why is Krishna dancing with so many girls? And why is he stealing butter and all that, And then because they are relating to Krishna as an ordinary person. That's why it's very important to hear about the creation of how this material world is created, so that we can understand properly. Krishna is not one of us. He is the Supreme Lord. We cannot create, not when we are sleeping. It's not that so many universes are coming out of the pores of our body. No, we can't do that. And then enter into each and every universe. When we are sleeping, we are like gone. We forget everything. We don't even know who we are at that time. Whatever we think is so dear when we are awake, when we are sleeping, we can't remember anything. Total forgetfulness. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur replies that the pastimes of Lord in Vrindavan are meant to be relished by advanced devotees of the Lord. The neophyte devotees will misunderstand such supreme transcendental activities of the Lord, and therefore the Lord's pastimes in the material sphere related to creation, maintenance, and destruction are verily relishable by the Prakrita or mundane devotees of the Lord. As the yoga system, mainly based on bodily exercises, is meant for the person who's too much attached to the bodily conception of existence, similarly, the Lord's pastimes related to the creation and destruction of the material world are for those who are too materially attached. So we can see that the yoga system, it starts with pranayam. Oh, that I need to keep my body healthy, so let me do pranayam. So it's there for gradual elevation. The goal of yoga is not pranayam, but just for people to begin the yoga, the pranayam is there. The goal of yoga is to realize Paramatma in the heart. Similarly, for us also, at our level, because we are so materially attached, we are very, and if we say no, we are not, then we have to rethink where we are coming from, you know. We are very materially attached. So that's why it's very important for us to understand the Lord's pastimes in the creation, maintenance, and destruction of this material world before we jump into the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. But Srila Prabhupada, by his mercy, he did describe the activities of Lord Krishna, which are in the 10th canto, in the Krishna book. But the way he's presented it, because he's a pure devotee coming in parampara, there is no way that we can get misguided. He's given enough philosophy, enough foundation, and he's explaining us in the correct way how we can understand these pastimes. But of course, we are recommended that read Bhagavatam from the first canto systematically. The scientists explain the material functions by so many technological terms of material law, but such blind scientists forget the lawmaker. The Srimad Bhagavatam points out the lawmaker. One should not be amazed by the mechanical arrangement of the complicated engine or dynamo, but one should praise the engineer who creates such a wonderful working machine. So we can see that the physics, there are so many laws that we discover. The physicists say, oh, the law of gravity, and that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So these are the laws of nature. But who is making these laws? That is to be considered. Who is this? How intelligent is he that he is making these laws? And so, because material science does not give us the answer that who is the one who's making these laws, this answer, we can get it from Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the difference between the devotee and the non-devotee. Devotees are always full with praising the Lord who directs the physical laws. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.10, the direction of the Lord upon the material nature is described as follows. So what a devotee is always praising, he is always looking at, he's always searching for Krishna in everything, because everything after all is coming from Krishna. After all, Krishna is the creator and the maintainer and the annihilator. It's only the non-devotees who want to disregard Krishna. So, Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam hetuna nena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. The material nature, full of physical laws, is one of my different energies. Therefore, it is neither independent nor blind. Because I am transcendentally all-powerful, simply by my glancing over material nature, the physical laws of nature work so wonderfully. The actions and reactions of the physical laws work on that account. And thus, the material world is created, maintained, and annihilated again and again. So Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita that this material world that you are seeing is one of my energies. She's not independent. It's not that material nature one day decided I'm going to create by myself. No, it's not. It's because Krishna, he glanced over the material energy, and that's the reason the whole activity begins. She's under Krishna's control. And if we want to get, and she is under Krishna's control, and she's the agent to control us, because we want to forget Krishna, because we don't want to see him. So he's put this material energy in front of us. But if we want to remember him, we just surrender unto him. He takes away this material energy, the Maya. He takes it away. Men with a poor fund of knowledge, however, become astonished by studying the physical laws, both within the construction of the individual body and within the cosmic manifestation, and foolishly they decry the existence of God, taking it for granted that the physical laws are independent without any metaphysical control. So if we try to understand material nature without giving credit to the creator, without giving credit to Krishna, we will get really confused. And that's the reason that many of the scientists are so confused, because they don't give the credit to Krishna. And so they discover laws and they make theories. Then after some time, another scientist comes and says, no, 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 what this one said was wrong. Now this is the new theory. All this confusion is because just not accepting, not recognizing that, oh, this world is created by God. It didn't just happen by itself. Not that there was one big cloud at one time, it burst and this whole beautiful creation was created. You know, it's not that we never see any combination. There is earth, water, air, fire, ether is there everywhere. We don't see them coming together by themselves and a computer is made automatically. No, somebody takes all these elements, puts it under process, and then the computer is created. These elements have no capacity to come by itself together to create. And so Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9.11, he replies to this foolishness in the following words: Avajananti mam muda manushim tanum ashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. The foolish men, muda, do not know the personality of Godhead in his eternal form of bliss and knowledge. The foolish man thinks of the transcendental body of the Lord as something like his own, and therefore he cannot think of the unlimited controlling power of the Lord, who is not visible in the acting of the physical laws. So it's out of our foolishness that we are not able to see the Lord, and we say that he doesn't exist and that his body is same like this material body. The Lord is, however, visible to the naked eyes of people in general when he descends himself by his own personal potency. Lord Krishna incarnated himself as he is and played very wonderful parts as the Lord himself. And the Bhagavad Gita concerns such wonderful actions and knowledge. Yet foolish men will not accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord. So many people say, oh, show me God. I can't see God, so I will not trust him. But when Krishna came personally, when he was here personally 5,000 years ago on the earth, there were many people who still did not accept him as God. You know, like Shishupal, he was always insulting him. And then the dhobi, Kansa's dhobi, he didn't want to give the clothes to Krishna. So there were so many people who did not accept Krishna as God, and when he's personally present also. So it takes devotion to understand. But again, there were so many people who accepted Krishna as God when he was there personally present. All the great authorities, all the great personalities accepted Krishna is God. When Yudhishthir Maharaj performed the Rajasuya Yagya, where all the great personalities from all over the universe came, even the demigods were invited and they came to this Rajasuya Yagya. Yudhishthir Maharaj had hosted it. And then the sacrifice begins by performing, by honoring the most, supreme person, the person who's the most eligible for worship. So there was a discussion now, because there were great personalities from all over the universe. So who should we offer this honor to? And it was rightfully decided that this first honor should be given to Krishna, because he's the Supreme Lord. And he was honored by everybody publicly in that assembly of Rajasuya. So, yet foolish men will not accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Generally, they consider the infinitesimal and infinite features of the Lord because they themselves are unable to become either the infinitesimal or the infinite. But one should know that the infinite and infinitesimal sizes of the Lord are not his highest glories. The most wonderful manifestation of the Lord's power is exhibited when the infinite Lord becomes visible to our eyes as one of us. Yet his activities are different from those of the finite beings. So there are some who can't understand that how Krishna, he is unlimited. And then they cannot understand that how unlimited he is. But here Prabhupada is saying that he's unlimited is not his glory. His highest glory, okay, it's a glory to be unlimited, but still higher than that glory is that the unlimited is coming visible to our eyes, that we can see him. And he's performing such loving pastimes. And he's having such loving relationships. Lifting a mountain at the age of 7 years and marrying 16,000 wives in the prime of his youth are some of the examples of his infinite energy. But the Mudas, after seeing them or hearing about them, decry them as legendary and take the Lord as one of them. So we have heard also, that these are all mythology, Mahabharata and Ramayana, that's all mythology. No, it's not mythology, it's real. Krishna was here 5,000 years ago. They cannot understand that Lord Sri Krishna, although in the form of a human being, by his own potency, is still the Supreme Lord with full potency as the Supreme Controller. When, however, the Mudas give submissive and oral reception to the messages of the Lord, as in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita or in the Srimad Bhagavatam, through the channel of disciplic succession, such Mudas also become devotees of the Lord by the grace of his pure devotees. And for this reason only, either in the Bhagavad Gita or in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the pastimes of the Lord in the material world are delineated for the purpose of those men with a poor fund of knowledge. So what we have to do is we just have to keep hearing the messages of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, which are coming in the parampara system. And in that way, all our doubts will be cleared. And we will see Krishna face to face. And our loving relationship with Krishna will be awakened. The love that we have for Krishna in our heart will be awakened. And loving devotional service will rise in our heart just by hearing Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Any questions or comments? If not, then we can go to this next one, text 11. Tasav avasit swashatrasu sahasram parivatsaran tena narayano nama yad apaha purusho bhavaha. That Supreme Person is not impersonal and therefore is distinctively a Nara or person. Therefore, the transcendental water created from the Supreme Nara is known as Nara. And because he lies down on that water, he is known as Narayana. So now in the matter of creation, Sukadev Goswami is saying that know it for certain that the Supreme Lord is a person. He's not impersonal. He has spiritual body. He has spiritual senses. And that's why he's called a Nara. And the water, the Karana water, which is created by the Lord, is called Nara. And because he's lying down on this water. That's why he's called Narayana. So text 12. Dravyam karma cha kalascha swabhava jiva evacha yad anugra hatah shanti na shanti yad upekshaya. One should definitely know that all material ingredients, activities, time and modes, and the living entities who are meant to enjoy them all exist by His mercy only. And as soon as He does not care for them, everything becomes non-existent. The living entities are the enjoyers of the material ingredients, time, modes, etc., because they want to lord it over the material nature. The Lord is the supreme enjoyer, and the living entities are meant to assist the Lord in His enjoyment and thus participate in the transcendental enjoyment of everyone. That's the reason actually we exist, that we are meant to assist the Lord in His pastimes, in His enjoyment, and in that way we will also become blissful. That is our true nature, that's our swabhav, that's our swadharma, that's our sanatan dharma, to assist the Lord in His enjoyment, and thus everybody enjoys. But because we don't want to do that, we are conditioned. We want to be the enjoyer. We say, why should we cooperate with Krishna for His enjoyment? I want to be Krishna. I want to enjoy. And that's the reason we are in the material world. Because Krishna says, you want to enjoy? Okay, then you enjoy. But we can see time and again we want to enjoy. We try very hard to enjoy, but our attempts are frustrated. The enjoyer and the enjoyed both participate in enjoyment, but deluded by the illusory energy. The living entities want to become the enjoyer like the Lord, although they are not meant for such enjoyment. The jivas, the living entities, are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita as the Lord's superior nature or Paraprakriti. And so also it is mentioned in the Vishnu Puran. Therefore, the living entities are never the Purushas or the factual enjoyers. As such, the spirit of enjoyment by the living entity in the material world is false. It is false that we want to live here in the material world and enjoy. That is Maya. That is our illusion. We are trying to be somebody who we are not. And that's the reason we get so scared and so anxious and so depressed, because we are trying to be Krishna and we are not Krishna. We are trying to be the controller and we are not. We do not have that software, that hardware to do it. Only Krishna can do such things. In the spiritual world, the living entities are pure in nature, and therefore they are associates in the enjoyment of the Supreme Lord. In the material world, the spirit of enjoyment of the living entities, by dint of their own actions, karma, gradually fades by the laws of nature. And thus the illusory energy dictates in the ears of the conditioned souls that they should become one with the Lord. So when people are frustrated, when we try to enjoy this material world, I'll do this, I'll be happy, I'll go to this holiday, I'll be happy, I will eat this, I will be happy. And when we try to do a lot of this, and yet we see that, oh, I'm not yet happy. In fact, I'm suffering more and more. I'm becoming more and more frustrated. Then what happens? We say, okay, I don't want to be an individual anymore. I am God. I'm going to enter inside the body of God and become God. That is the last snare of the illusory energy. This is also Maya, that I'm going to give up this body and I will become God. This is Maya. When the last illusion is also cleared off by the mercy of the Lord, the living entity again becomes reinstated in his original position and thus becomes actually liberated. For this attainment of liberation from the material clutches, the Lord creates the material world, maintains it for some time, 1,000 years of His measurement, as stated in the previous verse, and then again annihilates it by His will. So Lord Vishnu's breath is for 1,000 of His years, and that is, wow, unimaginable for us, you know. And then when He breathes in, everything comes back again in His body. The living entities are therefore completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. and all their so-called enjoyments by scientific improvement are crushed into dust when the Lord desires. So when Mahavishnu is going to breathe in, no matter how much wealth we have, no matter how much beauty we have, no matter how strong we are, how many empires we have created, where the economic development has taken on, everything will go again in his body and remain there in there, resting again till he breathes out. The creation will happen again then. So it's not in our hand. Even death of this body is not even in our hand. When the time is up, it's up. We cannot argue at that time. No, I need some more time. Cannot. So we are not the controller. Any questions or comments? If no, then we can stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much for joining in. Hare Krishna.